Welcome back, third grade. Today we are going to finish up with our circus performer project today. So the first thing that you are going to receive is a smaller piece of white paper. And onto this white paper, you are going to draw the circus performer that you want to include in your project. So you might have drawn something a few weeks ago when we did the sketch. You can draw that same performer, or if you came up with a different idea, you can draw that on here. You will be cutting this circus performer out. Keep that in mind. So you want to make sure that it's not too teeny tiny or doesn't have anything that's too skinny. You want to make sure that it's something that you can cut out easily. So go ahead and draw your performer onto this small piece of paper. I'm going to do that and catch up with you in just a moment. All right, so I have decided to draw someone riding a unicycle for my circus performer. So since I have done that, I am going to grab a Sharpie and some crayons. I am carefully going to outline my circus performer in Sharpie, and then I'm going to go ahead and color it in. All right, so I have finished coloring my performer. So I am going to push that Sharpie and the crayons off to the side. So now I'm gonna grab my pair of scissors and I'm gonna cut this out. Now, it is hard for this circus performer that we drew, whether it's an animal or a person. It can be really difficult to cut things out because some of these things are really tiny. So something that I'm going to do is, you'll see in just a second, I'm going to do something called a bubble cut, where I'm going to leave a little bit of space around my performer. So that way, I don't have to try and cut out all of those tiny little details. Please feel free to do that, especially if you're worried about some of the small things that you have in there. All right, so I have my circus performer cut out. So I move my scissors off to the side. At this point, you wanna pull over the background that you made last week. All right, so we have our circus performer and we can put them right here into the middle. Or we could add a little bit of movement to our project, just like Alexander Calder did. So here's what we're going to do. I'm going to set my performer off to the side so that I don't lose it. And there are going to be a couple things that I am going to help you with for this project. So one of those things is that I will come to your table with a hole punch, and I'm going to punch a hole on either side of your project so that they're right across from each other. You can see them right there. All right, after that hole is punched, you're going to get a piece of yarn, just like this. And you want to poke each end of the yarn through one of those holes. All right, so that way it goes across the front just like this. You're gonna flip it over, and on the back, and if you need some help with this, you can ask, you are going to tie it. Now you don't want to tie it so tight that it doesn't move. You just want to tie a little knot or a bow in the back, whichever's going to be easiest for you. Okay, just like that. And then if you need to, you can trim the ends. All right, so got it so far? All right, at that point, you're going to take your performer and you're going to bring it up to me. I am going to put a little dot of hot glue onto your performer, and you are going to stick it onto that yarn. I'm going to go do that with mine and check back with you in just a second. All right, everyone, I am back. As you can see, I have glued my performer down to the yarn. So here's the best part. The same way that Alexander Calder created movement in his artworks, we can grab onto the yarn on the back of this paper, and we can also make our circus performer move across the circus arena. After you have finished with that, you are all done with your circus performer project.